Hi everyone, and welcome to the SwiftFox Masterclass. Today we're focusing on building your own action center. Action centers are one of the most powerful parts of SwiftFox, but also one of the most flexible, which means they can be easy to overlook or underuse. This session isn't about running through every setting or option. Instead, we're going to look at how action centers come together in practice, how to build them in a way that supports real day-to-day work. By the end of this masterclass, you should have a clear understanding of what action centers are designed to do, how to structure them so they make sense for your teams, and how to build one that people actually want to use. At their core, action centers are live operational views into your SwiftFox database. They sit somewhere between a report and a workspace. Unlike static reports, action centers are always live. They're searchable, filterable, and sortable. They can be exported, and in many cases, data can be edited directly from the table. But the real value isn't the table itself. The value is that action centers let you bring related work together into one place. Instead of jumping between profiles, running exports, or relying on spreadsheets, you can create focused views for case management, finance workflows, reviewing form submissions, tracking CPD and goals, managing lists and directories, and auditing posts and interactions. That's why action centers appear in the left-hand navigation. They're designed to be places your team works from, not screens they occasionally visit. Before creating an action center, the first thing to think about is where it belongs. Action centers are organized into areas, which appear in the left sidebar, and sections, which group related action centers within that area. This structure is important because it reflects ownership. For example, finance-related action centers live together. Membership-related action centers live together. Operational workflows live together. When an action center lives in the right area, it immediately makes sense to the people using it. It feels intentional, not bolted on. Once you know where the action center belongs, the next decision is the type. A simple way to think about this is based on how the work starts. If the work starts from a list of people or organizations, a list builder action center is usually the right fit. If it's finance related, one of the financial action centers will be appropriate. If it's about reviewing submissions, form responses is usually the best option. If it's compliance or CPD, goals or goal activities are a better match. If it's interaction-based, posts or cases tend to work best. You don't need the perfect type. You need the one that best reflects how the work begins. Once the type is understood and the basics are set up, the focus shifts to usability. This is where it really starts to earn its place. In this next stage, you're making decisions about how you want this action center to be used. For form and list builder types, this means which columns are visible, the order those columns appear in, and which fields should be directly editable in the table. For financial types, this means what default filters should apply to segment the data to keep it focused. With columns, this starts by removing any defaults that aren't essential to your workflow. A good rule of thumb here is if a column doesn't support a decision or an action, it probably doesn't need to be visible. From there, you can reorder columns so the most important information appears first. This small change alone can dramatically improve how usable the action center feels. You want the table to guide your team. For types that support editing, you can choose which fields should be editable directly in the table. This allows teams to make quick updates without opening individual profiles. Finally, default filters control what users see the moment they open the action center. Instead of starting with everything, you can narrow the view to what actually matters day to day, such as recent records, outstanding items, or specific statuses. When all of this comes together, you're no longer looking at a generic table. You're designing a workspace that's ready to use the moment someone opens it. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with an example of where you might use this in a way that you hadn't initially considered. One of the best examples of that with action centers is when you start designing them to work together. A lot of users start by thinking, I need an action center that shows me X. That's a good starting point. But in many cases, what you're managing is a process that moves through stages. A simple example is a sales or engagement pipeline. Instead of one action center, you might create a small set of action centers, all based on the same underlying data and all filtered on the same custom field, such as a stage field. Each action center represents a different stage. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, and so on. The key part is making that stage field visible in the table and marking it as editable. Once you do that, moving forward becomes incredibly simple. You update the value directly in the table, and the moment that happens, the record drops out of one action center and appears in the next. You're not opening individual profiles, you're not running bulk updates, you're just working in the view. And while sales and engagement pipelines are an easy example, this pattern works just as well for things like membership approvals, case progression, or internal review workflows. The real takeaway here isn't the specific example, it's the way of thinking. Action centers don't have to stand alone. When you design them as a connected set, they can reflect an entire journey, not just a snapshot of data. So, to wrap things up, action centers are about making SwiftFox work the way your organization works. They give you a way to pull the right information together, put it in front of the right people, and make it easy to take action without jumping all over the system. If you're just getting started, don't feel like you need to build everything at once. Pick one workflow, build one action center around it, and see how your team uses it. From there, it becomes much easier to refine and expand. Thanks for spending the time with us today, and we'll see you in the next masterclass.